Hey guys, how are you doing? Today coming to you from a different side of the equator. No, I'm joking. I'm still in Ghana. I'm just out and about with some friends and family at the moment. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it, right? You've seen the title, you've seen the header, right? I've been thinking about it myself for the past couple of days, right? Chelsea made the bold decision of sacking Liam Rosinia, who, by the way, had a better record than Ruben Amorim. For those of you who are still crying about Ruben Amorim getting sacked, best decision United have ever made, in my opinion. Cheers. I mean, hiring him, wasn't our fault. We're looking at somebody, a young manager with energy to take us in that direction. He fit the bill, right? And honestly speaking, right, I think the way Liam Rosinia is perceived versus how Amorim is perceived, how Amorim has loyal fans and followers, right, shows us one thing: the way you carry yourself as a coach in the media room is critical. Because the only reason why people believed in Amorim so much was because of how, he came and he had all that Portuguese, and it's not about the players, and we are going to have to suffer a lot, and the system and the still. No, right? So that's different. That's what that's about, right? But let's actually deep it, right? I think Chelsea sacking him was the right decision. I don't think Liam Rosinia is a bad manager, but I do think that he was just out of his depth as Chelsea boss, right? And that's okay. He's still obviously very young. He's only about 41, right? A lot of coaches become who they are meant to be at like 50, 51. So thereabouts. So, and he did spend like a large part of his years playing football. So he still has like some way to go, right? So he'll bounce back from this, right? But if you actually look at the market, Chelsea have obviously made this decision to sack Rosinia for the main reason that they still think that the season is salvageable, right? I think they're 8 points. Yeah, I think so. They are 10 points from us United last I checked, right? But I think even now they've played a game more. So if Man U win, it could extend to 13. That's and United and Villa on the same point. So let's say they are. I've not checked recently, but let's say they are 10 points from third and fourth, right? That means that they are legitimate. The people that they can legitimately catch are Liverpool, right? Who are also a few points in front of them. Of course, there's always the scenario that Aston Villa finish fifth and then they win the Europa League, so the place drops down. The Champions League place drops down to sixth, right? The new rules are a little strange, but yeah. But if you really look at Chelsea, right, and I'm wondering to myself, who on earth can save Chelsea, right? I think this Liam Rosinia appointment didn't work. I mean, he had injuries. You tell he had injuries, but I mean, everybody has injuries. You have to learn how to deal with it, right? As a manager, right, and not try to age something like he said he was going to do. I think the only person who has aged drastically since he took this job are the Chelsea fans and him himself, to be honest, because he has gone through a lot in this job. But yeah, let's continue looking at it, right? In my opinion, I don't think this worked out for the main reason of number one, of course, the job was too big for him, and number two, the players just weren't impressed by him. I think when you have a team that was, I want to say, virtually nobody's when Maresca came, right? Like a lot of the Chelsea players were good, but they were all one way or the other kind of like in their own rough patch. I think the only person who was thriving when Maresca came in was Palmer, right? And then the rest of it is the Maresca team, right? Well, not really a Maresca team, more like a Bluco team. I doubt that Maresca wanted to sign Garnacho, to be honest, but putting that one aside, right? Maresca obviously worked with them, and I'm sure like the PSG game, right, beating the European champions who were trampling everybody in their path, right, would have also helped the players regarding a different kind of pedigree. But when I compare that to Rosinia, who had the chance to do something similar, Rosinia didn't strike them with any confidence whatsoever. I think the fact of the matter is that Rosinia just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi about him that a lot of managers need. That I think you need if you are going to manage Chelsea. You need to manage. If you are going to manage Chelsea, you need to have that kind of serious grit, determination, and you have to be able to win the respect of your players, right? But now I'm looking at the managerial market, and I'm wondering to myself, who on earth can Chelsea go for right now that they have signed him, right? Maybe Callum McFarlane can take them to the end of the season, put a few decent results together. You did get that draw against Man City, but I'm thinking, right? There's only number one. There has to be a manager that screams, yes, serious appointments, right? You need a best in class for Chelsea. I feel the same way for Manchester United, right? But the problem is that where these clubs are at the moment, right? Especially with the crossroads and how they want to build, especially with regards to Chelsea and Rosinia. Chelsea and their manager, I shouldn't say Rosinia, right? You kind of feel like their best bet for getting a proper permanent manager is at the end of the season. They could possibly tempt Pochettino back with a return. Nagelsmann is available, Iraola is available, right? So the only serious candidate that actually screams out at you who is available right now, unless they're going to leave their club, which is unlikely. There's 5 games left in the season, and nobody has confirmed anything yet. I don't think anybody is even champions right now. There hasn't been a single confirmed champion across the leagues, right? There have only been a handful of relegations, and Chelsea are not going to want a relegated manager anyway. So and it doesn't make sense to leave whoever is in their team right now, right? But for me, right now, if Chelsea are going to appoint somebody right now, get a fat stack of cash, walk all the way to wherever this guy lives. I don't know whether he lives in Spain still or in Germany, and just puts that fat cash in front of him, a contract, full creative power, and tell Xabi Alonso, you are a man, you are a guy, that's my guy, that's our guy, that's the guy who wants us to lead us into the future. When we talk about a lights out appointment, right? If you ever hear somebody say, oh, this is lights out, right? It means that it's so clear and it's so obvious, like lights out, like it's perfect. I think that's the lights out appointment for Chelsea. I think that's who they have to go for, in my opinion. I think that's who, once he comes in, he impresses all the players, right? I think he will instill different tactical visions and ideas, right? So we are still looking at the coaches and who we can bring in, right? Xavi, I think, is also one that could work out at Chelsea, except I don't know. Xavi feels like very combustible. He feels very distinct. But the problem with Xabi Alonso, I feel, is obviously his relation to Liverpool, right? I think it's amazing that Arne Slot hasn't been sacked by now, right? And if they continue for him to be their man, then I think Chelsea have every chance of going to get Alonso in for the job. Will they get him? I think that remains to how much he's willing to get back into work, whether he thinks that there's any other high-profile job waiting for him. I personally would have loved Alonso at United, but again, obviously, even though he's a Spaniard, he's a Scouser, and so that would just never work out with us. Looking through some other names, nobody else is going to strike you with that thing that you need. Heavy Renard, no. Thiago Motta failed at Juventus. Oh, sorry. Joachim Low, no, nobody. That guy fell off a cliff, right? Ten Hag, definitely not. Right? Gareth Southgate, no. But again, so apart from Xabi Alonso, right, the best options that you could get are going to be available this summer, especially after the World Cup. Maybe you could even, Tuchel left because of glucose, so it's very unlikely that he'd come back. But you look at even Deschamps. I think, honestly speaking, right, Didier Deschamps is the most Chelsea/Real Madrid coded manager, I think, in the world. I think that he has a specific set of skills that is needed to coach elite level of players, right? He's not the best tactician, he's not the most exciting guy, he's not the most defensive guy either. He just manages to platform his players to the best of their ability, and it seems to work out very well a lot of the time, right? So Didier Deschamps, you will be definitely free in the summer, right? So if you're looking at the people Chelsea can get in the summer, would be a great fit. Deschamps, Iraola would also be a very good fit for Chelsea. Even though I would prefer him at United. I feel like he's more of a United coach than a Chelsea coach. I think the guy who is a closer fit to Chelsea is more between Oliver Glasner and Marco Silva. But I think Marco Silva is not there enough to even be considered for the Chelsea job, right? So so we have those. We have Iraola. We have what's this guy's name? I forgot the guy's name I just mentioned. But you look at the German national team as well. Nagelsmann could also very easily step down after this World Cup, especially if they win, or no matter whether they win or they don't win, he's very likely to step down. So you have Iraola, you have Nagelsmann. You could have Pochettino in the mix, right? And of course, when the season ends, Chelsea could do what all the other clubs are doing right now and go and get somebody who knows the club inside out and what's not, and just go in and bring Cesc Fabregas. When Rosinia got sacked, when Maresca got sacked / left, and nobody knows what exactly was going on over there, right? But when he left, right now, speaking to my friend who was a Chelsea fan, he was saying that he wanted Chelsea to just go and get somebody who was best in class, somebody who was like at that tip-top level of football coaching, that he doesn't want anybody to come and learn on the job and this, that they just sack him after a few months. Fair play to him, he got his spot on, right? But I said that I think they should go with Cesc, because even though Cesc is new to the league, he's also relatively new to management, right? The way Chelsea have turned on Cesc would have never happened. It turned on Rosinia would have never happened under Cesc Fabregas, because Fabregas is one of those guys who he played for Arsenal, who he was great, left, had a bitter taste in their mouth, went somewhere else, and he's adored them. He probably loves them more than he loves Arsenal, kind of like Van Persie, right? But I think Cesc Fabregas, if they're going to wait till the summer, it's the guy, because the only other possible guy I could see for the Chelsea job, apart from Deschamps, is Xabi Alonso, who is like there right now, right? So, and I think Deschamps could also end up going to Real Madrid. So my thing is that why not just wait till the summer and go and get Cesc Fabregas, right? He's not a top manager, right? But he's excellent, and I think he would bring the organization to Chelsea that they need. I think he'd carry himself very well, and I think that he has the tactical nuance to get Chelsea to this level. Of course, none of this really matters if the owners are going to not back the players, right? But that's again me. Right. Let me laugh at these people. So Glenn Ashiti and Miguel Debra, currently both in University of Ghana, Legon, went to Christ the King. I'm being very specific so that you know that I'm talking to you. I remember we were in JHS 2, 2018, and I think United had lost some final or something. And I was telling you guys about how Man United can't do anything until they get rid of the Glazers. And you guys were telling me that, every day Man, you are complaining about owners. And I told you that you let something happen and get American owners. Now you have seen it with your naked eyes. Anyway, thanks guys for listening.